Pressure increasing on DB pension trustees to fully fund schemes. Trustees of defined benefit pension schemes are coming under increasing pressure to fully fund them, therefore putting employers under pressure to pay out. In the 1970s and 80s, if a company was to put a pension scheme in place for their staff, it would likely be a final salary, or defined benefit pension scheme. This was done regardless of size, and was offered to employees as a promised benefit based on the number of years they worked for the company, and the salary they earned. Recently, we have seen a vastly different economy with low interest rates and little incentive for loyalty. Legislation has meant that employees have more protection when leaving a company's service and are far more likely to change companies every few years. This has become the norm. In fact, research done by LV= found that employees on average will change employer every 5 years. These old-school pension schemes were seen as a long service reward, and therefore not in an employer's best interest to implement if employees leave quickly. Employers began winding these schemes down, no longer offering such schemes to new employees. However, an estimated 5,500 schemes remain in the UK private sector, with over 2/3 recording a deficit, meaning the scheme does not have enough assets to fully fund and cover its existing membership. Speaking to Accountancy Age, Robin Hames, institutional director at wealth management firm LGT Vestra, said, "Through successive legislation and through changes in the nature of our economy and behavior, the costs kept going up for this promise that the employer was underwriting. It got to the stage where employers started to close their schemes, and then perhaps swooned them up. But many didn't. Because interest rates have been so low, and they ultimately influence how you calculate the cost of meeting those promises, the costs have gone through the roof." Over the last 10 years, an awful lot of companies have been faced with a position where the assets they held within the scheme were deemed to be insufficient. Recover periods. In this scenario, trustees and firms must calculate recovery periods, the length of time it will take them to fully fund their pension schemes. Firms are required to account for this cost in their financial reporting, which is where accountants come in. Hames said, "Auditors now need to include an estimate of the deficit within the company's reporting accounts. Companies are having to continue to contribute to schemes where they. For more on this story, visit the news article link.